one.
NoDQ&A videos number one.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate ringsidenews.com. I am safely back in Portland, Oregon after a wild night of Monday Night Raw. If you missed it, make sure you check out the NoDQ live video I did late Monday night. I recapped my personal experience being at Raw, and also I gave my thoughts on The Rock appearing and filming the segment for his upcoming Page movie. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest. We have video footage from Monday night, including The Rock's promo, where he did various catchphrases of other popular WWE superstars. Also, the clip of Vince McMahon showing up on Raw. Lots of interesting stuff on Raw that you did not see. So make sure you check out NoDQ.com for that. And real quick, you see the t-shirt I'm wearing? Go to ProWrestlingTees.com. It is the official Talk Wrestling t-shirt, Talk Wrestling with Jeff Meacham. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com, search NoDQ, or click the link in the description box and pick up a shirt if you would like to support Jeff and myself. With that being said, let's get down to your questions today. First one comes from Chris. Hey Aaron, what are the chances of Nakamura representing Shane McMahon at WrestleMania to face AJ Styles? My gut feeling is that it's very unlikely we will see that match. For those of you that missed it, I posted a recap from an interview that Nakamura did with Yahoo Japan, and during that interview he talked about how he would like to face AJ Styles if that spot is available. And as of this video, AJ's opponent for WrestleMania has not been revealed. My gut feeling is it's going to be Shane. It will be Shane McMahon going in there, and let's face it, at this stage of the game, Shane is going to be a bigger marquee name in that WrestleMania spot than Nakamura. As popular as Nakamura is with many diehard wrestling fans and wrestling fans in Japan, he's not established as a WWE main roster superstar yet. WWE is not going to invest in him in a major match at WrestleMania. I just don't see it happening. I think that he will debut later this year, possibly after WrestleMania, and they will slowly build him up like they did with AJ, and then maybe for next year's WrestleMania, WrestleMania 34, I think that there's a better chance of that match taking place. Next question comes from Glenn Lamb. Was the crowd chanting for CM Punk as rejection of something else, as is usually the case? The first time the fans at Staples Center started chanting for CM Punk during Raw, it was when Stephanie came out, and I think that's just how the fans are. They do not like the McMahons. They like to rebel. They like to come up with chants that they know will bother the McMahons. And with Stephanie and Vince, chanting CM Punk is not something that they like. Chanting what is something that they do not like. And these fans know it, so they're going to instigate the McMahons because they know it bothers them. You could say it's the fans trolling the McMahons when they do those chants. And I think that's what it was on Raw. And then, of course, later, when The Rock came out, it was because of the fact that you had this Page versus AJ Lee match that was going to be recreated for the movie. And because of AJ Lee's name, you're going to get the obvious CM Punk chants. And The Rock even referenced this. The Rock knew this was coming. However, The Rock did go into business for himself. It was not planned for The Rock to start referencing CM Punk. I think he just decided to hell with it and call up CM Punk and just make the most of the situation, even if it pissed off people in WWE. And what are they going to do? The Rock's The Rock. The Rock is just about the only person that can get away with this. If WWE got pissed at him or said that they weren't going to use him anymore, The Rock would be like, cool, whatever, good luck, guys. And that would be it. So The Rock is definitely one of those few guys that can do whatever he wants. And if he wants to mention CM Punk, then he's going to do it. And if anything, The Rock doing this and all the attention it has gotten, I would not be surprised if people in WWE are just fuming. And I think it's going to elevate CM Punk's stock if he ever does come back to WWE. I mean, the video clip I posted on Twitter got over 1,500 retweets, which I think is a record for my Twitter account on NoDQ&AV, by the way. Make sure you're following so you can get the latest updates, and I also tweet during the live events. Check that out. Cheap plug. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the CM Punk chants, and I think if anything, they'll just keep going now, and this will continue to help CM Punk in terms of his name value moving forward, that, hey, people still care about the guy, and 15,000 people in Staples Center were chanting his name, and it made headlines everywhere. This one comes from Brian. I'm sick of Stephanie McMahon. Did she just go heel and face in the same segment? I did not really hear the backstage segments that well, but when she was out there with Bayley, I mean, I think she was pretty much playing a heel character the entire time. The thing about Stephanie is, since she's a McMahon, you know how they are with their egos. The McMahons always have to look strong and dominating, and because of that, sometimes you're not sure if they're a heel or a babyface, because Stephanie will stand up to the wrestlers and she will be a strong woman with authority and yada yada yada. And that's how the McMahons are. They like to present themselves as larger than life themselves and being the bosses and being the top dogs, even if it makes the talent look weak. That's just the way it is in the world of WWE. But in that segment, I mean, to me, Stephanie was clearly a heel in that segment when she was telling Bayley she should relinquish the title because of the outside interference from Sasha. I mean, it was just Stephanie, just almost being a bully in a way, just trying to put Bayley down and forcing her to do something, even though, everyone knows that there's always the outside interference from Charlotte. So for Bayley to, rebel against Stephanie, that's a babyface thing to do. Got this one here from Kevin. Could they be setting up a Sasha Banks versus Stephanie match? I would not rule anything out. I mean, at one point, there was talk about Stephanie McMahon facing Ronda Rousey, and can you think how ridiculous that is, that Stephanie would even have a chance against Ronda? But, in the world of WWE, they would build up Stephanie and act like she would be a real threat to Ronda. So I would not be surprised if we see a Stephanie match at some point, whether it's Stephanie versus Sasha Banks or Stephanie versus Charlotte or Stephanie versus Bayley. Again, it's hard to say because of the fact that the McMahons like to present themselves as these tough people. And when Stephanie is talking down to Bayley or Sasha, it doesn't necessarily mean they're building up to a match. It's just trying to make Stephanie's character look as strong as possible and feed her ego. So it is really hard to say, but I would not be surprised if we see Stephanie in a match sometime down the line. Maybe this year's WrestleMania, maybe next year. I could definitely see it happening. Got this one here from Jeremy Hastings. What did you think about what do you think about Braun Strowman winning the Andre Battle Royal, eliminating nearly everybody to win? I like the idea. If Strowman is in the Battle Royal and there's not a lot of other big names in it, then I would go with that. And I really think Strowman's probably going to need it. My guess is Roman Reigns will in fact defeat Braun Strowman and be the guy to slay the monster. Yeah, we know how this is going to go. And then Strowman can get his win back by winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And then he can brag about it and they can call him the Battle Royal winner for the next year. And we can all just shake our heads. That's what I'm expecting. I mean, I think Braun Strowman would be the most obvious choice to win the Battle Royal, to rebuild him from his inevitable loss to Roman Reigns and give him some credibility again. How far will it go? that remains to be seen if fans will really buy into it and Strowman will continue to be portrayed as a monster. I mean, I'll give WWE credit. They fixed Rusev. You know, he was on the verge of going into Kozlov territory, and they were doing that angle with Summer Rae, and then they turned him back into a monster again. So, I mean, it might help Strowman. I'm not going to say it'll be a failure before it happens. We'll just have to wait and see. This one comes from Robert. Who should be the one to end Charlotte's pay-per-view streak? I really want it to be Asuka. Your thoughts? If Charlotte stays undefeated on pay-per-view for a long time, then I would not rule out Asuka being the one, but I'm not sure Charlotte's streak will continue for the rest of the year. I mean, I would be surprised. I would legitimately be surprised if she doesn't lose by WrestleMania. If she somehow gets out of WrestleMania undefeated, I will be a bit surprised, and maybe she'll continue to be undefeated for the rest of the year. But I sense she's going to lose fairly soon, and WrestleMania would make sense since it's a big event, and you could have Bayley beat Charlotte. But if they're doing like a four-way match or something, I could see Charlotte winning. I think it's more likely we see Bayley end Charlotte's pay-per-view streak. I mean, for Charlotte to win back the title again at Fastlane would be a bit silly. I think it would be really silly at this point. But then again, there's also a chance that WWE will do some sort of screw job finish, like a DQ or a count out where Charlotte wins, but she doesn't win the title. But again, how long can they do that? How long can they stretch that out for 6 months to a year until WWE decides to call up Asuka? So, I mean, it just depends on the timing, I think. This one comes from Slow Motion. In my opinion, The Rock and Shawn Michaels should have happened at WrestleMania 20. Triple H and Benoit would have been okay, and Foley could have found different partners. Your thoughts? The problem with that is by that point, The Rock was back to being a babyface. The whole Hollywood Rock thing was done. Now, I think if they were going to do it, maybe 2003 would have been better. Although I did enjoy Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho, I think Hollywood Rock versus Shawn Michaels would have been a really appealing match. Or even the 2005 version of Shawn Michaels against the babyface Rock. Actually, I would have really enjoyed that one. Imagine Shawn's promos about The Rock, you know, what he was saying about Hogan, and, you know, if the rumors are true about their backstage heat, I think that would have made for some really entertaining television. But again, you know, I get this question, you know, why didn't Shawn Michaels face The Rock? And, you know, there's a lot of speculation about the backstage heat. I think a lot of it was just due to timing. And for whatever reason, the timing just did not work out for the two of them to have a match when The Rock was available. And of course, after 2004, he had his extended hiatus from WWE. And, you know, by the time he came back, Shawn was retired. I just think that the timing did not work out. And I think that ideally, I think like doing that match in 2003 would have been the best time when The Rock was doing the Hollywood gimmick and Shawn was in, you know, the beginning stages of his comeback. This one comes from Calvin Bowman. What's your favorite match from WrestleMania 1? Easy, the main event. I mean, looking back, I mean, time has not really been kind to that first WrestleMania. When you look at WWE today, it's so fast-paced and the athleticism is perhaps better than it's ever been. You look back at WrestleMania 1 and you have a series of squash matches almost, and matches that are not very good in quality. It was more about star power back then. But, you know, the main event definitely had that star power, and the main event was very entertaining. So with that match, that is what really got WrestleMania going and got it firing on all cylinders. Got the stove burning. I mean, that's what really got the ball rolling. And maybe I could think of some other ways to describe it. But that was the match that I think people remember as what really was the start of WrestleMania and what really got WWE to a whole new level of popularity. Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, and doing that tag team match with Muhammad Ali out there and Liberace and all the glitz and glamour. I mean, that's what we think of when we think of WrestleMania. We think of the biggest show in the world with all the celebrities and the pomp and circumstance and all that good stuff. This one comes from Paul Bessman. Has Steve Austin lost some steam, or had Steve Austin lost some steam when he returned in 2000? What do you think? Why or why not? I definitely feel Austin felt that way. I mean, he talked about in interviews how he felt like when he came back he was missing something and something was off a little bit, and that's why he felt the need to do the heel turn, which ended up not working. I think he was just fine when he came back. I mean, yeah, I think The Rock surprised a lot of people because there was some thinking with Austin gone, WWE would struggle to maintain their popularity, and somehow, even with Austin being gone, WWE was as popular as ever, maybe even more popular, with The Rock emerging as the top star. So when Austin did come back, I think he had something to prove, and he held his own. He went in there and had the great matches with Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit and more matches with The Rock, and to me, he was just as good as he ever was when he came back. I think that it was good for him to take the break, and he came back and did some great stuff. I just wasn't a fan of the heel turn. And botch. This one comes from Allie. Do you think WWE should have clear-cut heels and baby faces and no tweeners? Please answer in video. I'm fine with characters that are shades of gray. I think it's interesting when you have characters that are deep and they have some good qualities and some bad qualities. The problem is with wrestling is not known for its quality and deep thinking storytelling. It's basically just two guys getting in there and beating each other up. And because of that, I think you need somebody to cheer for and somebody to boo. And it needs to be clear. I think when the fans are not clear, more times than not, and there are exceptions before people call me out on this, I mean, Hogan and Warrior at WrestleMania 6, two baby faces. We've seen heel versus heel over the years. But most of the time, I think you need a really solid protagonist and a solid antagonist. You need good versus evil, and you need to clearly define that and not confuse people too much. If you're capable of telling a really good story with deep characters that are shades of gray, I mean, I always talk about Breaking Bad. Everyone that follows me knows how much I love that show. And, they pulled it off with the storytelling and characters that were shades of gray. But with WWE and professional wrestling, it's more straightforward. And because of that, I think you need to have it clear who you're cheering for and who you're booing. This one comes from Kyle. Hey Aaron, is there any gimmick that WWE hasn't tried to get over yet? Have they tried everything? I'm sure there are other ideas and concepts. I'm just not smart enough to know what they are. And that's the thing. I mean, we think we've seen everything in WWE, but somebody out there is going to have an idea of something that's totally different that hasn't been done before, and it's hard. I mean, at this stage of the game, it feels like we've seen everything, but I'm guessing we will see another revolution one day. We will see wrestling change in a big way, and somebody will have a fresh vision. Somebody will be at the right place at the right time, and they will change the game. Somebody will do that. I'm fairly confident one day we will see something equivalent to ECW rising up in the Attitude Era and a period when there was a tremendous amount of creativity. I think we will see it again someday. Will it happen anytime soon? Probably not. With WWE in the state they're in, they're profitable, they're making money, they're a business, they're going to keep doing what works for them, even if creative is lacking. They're more concerned with money than being creative, quite frankly. So I don't think we're going to see anything change soon, but I do think we will see some new concepts emerge eventually. This one comes from Yaniv Lames, and I apologize if I botched that. What is your opinion on the Evolution reunion in 2014? Did you like it or book it differently? They should defeat Shield in the first match. I liked the fact that the Shield beat Evolution, What I felt was a letdown was that Batista left right away. You know, I felt like he was way better as a heel. He should have just come back as a heel, and he's made this clear in interviews. You know, he felt he would have been better just being a heel right away. I understand the idea in bringing him back as a face, but they chose the wrong time to do it, obviously, with the Daniel Bryan situation. But I was sad to see Batista go because I felt like he was starting to make an impact again. You know, when he went heel and was part of Evolution, and then he quickly left, and then they just dropped it. You know, when Seth Rollins turned, I was hoping they would keep Evolution going with Triple H, Randy Orton, and Seth Rollins, rather than do the Authority, just keep Evolution going, a new Evolution, with Seth Rollins being the new Randy Orton or the new Batista. So I was disappointed in that. I wasn't upset with the Shield beating Evolution. I think that was huge for the Shield. Even though they broke up the next night, I still think it was cool for them to beat Evolution like that. It really put them over, all three guys. That'll wrap it up for NoDQ&A video. It's been a busy few days. Again, stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest, and I will see you guys next time.